Hi, morning traders. Welcome to another session of Market Snapshot. Say hello as you join in. And ideally, we want to look at the weekly events. This is a week that is packed with inflation data. And let's start off with yesterday, where we had the bank of we had a bank holiday in Japan. And if you look at that, after the bank holiday, there's been a comeback in terms of the stocks in Japan. So this is, if you go to tradingeconomics.com, you will see the Nikkei 225 index jumped 2.2% based after that holiday. So that is more on Japan. And remember, like last week, everything in the market was because of what had happened in Japan, courtesy of the BOJ. And so today we have now the producer and inflation data coming in. They can fast later in the evening, 3:30. But maybe we'll want to look at what has happened. If you look at the unemployment rate in the UK, it has dropped. The expected number was 4.5%. It has come out lower than that, 4.2%. And if you go to our charts, we'll have a look at that. We will see the pound strengthened for around, I think, 20 pips or thereabout, 20-25 pips. And so that is why we really need to be wary when you are trading, that take note of economic calendars. So for someone who had a tight stop loss, maybe they are looking for opportunities to short GBP USD or even any GBP pair, maybe they would have been caught out courtesy of that news. And so that's why, like, now let's look at the core PPI. This is what we are really interested in, because the core PPI excludes basically volatile components of food and energy prices. Remember, these are things that will be ranging due to many things. For example, the weather, maybe energy prices are affected by issues that will happen in the Middle East. So those things, so core PPI is a better measure than the PPI, right? So it helps in measuring the underlying inflation, right? So that is what we'll be looking at. But before we get to that, once again, this week we have tomorrow we'll be having the CPI one from the UK. We'll be having this playing out also, and also tomorrow late we'll see the CPI from the US. So it's a week where, like, we could see some volatility playing out, right? There's something I missed out. Tomorrow, Wednesday, also the interest rates in New Zealand will also be there. So that's something that for those guys who trade the NZD, they might want to be they might be on the lookout, so that they're not caught flat-footed when trading NZD pairs. And then, of course, on Thursday, you also have an unemployment rate also in Australia. So this is something that we need to be on the lookout also for those guys who are trading the Audi, anything with Audi. And then, of course, not so much on that. And then also later we'll have the core retail sales and employment claims on Thursday. And then also on Friday, we could see a bit of volatility in Australia. The Reserve Bank of Australia, Governor Bullock, will be speaking also. And also we have retail sales on Friday in the UK. Yeah, so ideally, we have a week that has some volatility courtesy of fundamentals. And so take note of this so that you're not caught flat-footed. Right, so let's go back to today and the expectations. So we've already seen some volatility play out courtesy of the 4.2% against a 4.5%. Now the news that we are looking at is more of the core PPI later, and last month came out at 0.4%, right? And so what we need to look at is there's a report here I was going through, and ideally it was talking about that, right? So the core producer prices in the US, which exclude food and energy costs, I've just said that the core PPI excludes these two components because of volatility, rose by 0.4% over a month in June. And so when we come to this data, we are expecting to see how these will play out. And so if this number comes out at, the forecast is 0.2%, right? This is what traders are expecting. But if this number comes out at 0.3%, we expect that the dollar will strengthen. Remember, we normally say when inflation goes up, then the currency strengthens because of, the expectation that the Fed will hike the interest rates. But now, as we look at it, we expect a cut in the interest rates, especially in September next month. So this is what we'll be looking at. However, if the number comes out lower than this 0.2%, maybe the number comes out at 0.1%, then we really expect the dollar to weaken at that point in time. So that is a basic interpretation of what we are expecting moving into 3:30 later in the afternoon during New York session. So that's it about the fundamentals. So let's have a look at our charts and try to understand what the technicals are saying. Remember, at the end of the day, when it comes to trading, one thing every day when you wake up, do what we've just done. Have a look at your economic calendar. Go to Forex Factory. There are guys who prefer my FX book. There are guys who prefer trading economics. There are guys who will go to investing.com. Just make sure that you have enough information that you can work with, right? So remember, at the end of the day, what we are really interested today is on the PPI. The PPI is what central banks and policymakers focus more on, right, when making their decisions on interest rates, right? So let's now go to our charts and figure out what the technicals are saying. Just make sure that you're lining out your questions. I'll be looking at them towards the end. So this is GBP USD. The news we've just seen the news. The news were out at 9. So we can see this bullish candle over here. This candle over here was courtesy of that news that came out, that unemployment went down to 4.2%. So the GBP, the pound strengthened, GBP strengthened courtesy of that news. So this by itself tells you that we really need to take note of the fundamentals. Now, this is the analysis we had last week. We were looking for opportunities for GBP/USD to drop to this price level. Didn't really get to where I had projected, right? But we can see after that, we can see that bullish push that played out. So the ideal area was 26.59.4, but we can see price got to 26, I think, 60 or thereabout, and now we can see that bullish momentum. So let's remove this analysis from last week and analyze GU afresh. So overall, if we go to the daily, we can see a bullish candlestick over here, which is the morning star, right? This is a morning star. So basically, we are bullish on GU. However, as intraday players, I'm looking for opportunities to short GU at around at this price level. Basically, let me map it out. This was last week's high. This is for an intraday position. So last week's high, that's an area I'm anticipating that once the market gets there, 29, 28.15, 28.16. However, we could see GU spike to 28, 28.25, which is a quarter point. And after that, maybe we could see some bearish push of around 30 pips, 40 pips, or even 50 pips. So that's more of an intraday play on GU. So anticipate a bullish push. So the trend is still bullish long term, but then again, does you no harm to take a counter trend trade as long as you know what you're doing. Don't be greedy. Just go for the 20-30 pips and you're out. As you get a better get a price level to buy cheaper. You know, we say in this case we are looking at buying the dips on GBP USD. So we were looking for a long-term bullish push, but then again, we first need to see a retracement. If you go to H4, we can see this bullish push playing out. So we anticipate GU to probably push all the way up. But then again, this is data that we'll review once again next week. So this is a price level that we need to look at. Yeah, 28, 26, courtesy of this candle over here. Then we should see some sellers coming in short term for around 50, 40 pips, and we are done. USD CHF. USD CHF, let's go to this currency over here. If we go to higher time frames, last time we were looking for opportunities to short USD CHF to this price level, and if you go to H1, we must have mapped out an area, and price got to that level, and then there was that bounce of price. So ideally, we had said we wanted to see USD CHF drop all the way to 83.31. Now let's remove this analysis. So we're still looking for opportunities to buy USD CHF. So the outlook over here will be a push to this price level. That's like 130 pips. So that's what I'm looking at on USD CHF. We want to see a push to that price level. Yeah, well, we can see a moving average here, the 800 acting as an area where you could actually book your profit. However, if we go to the daily, we could see USD CHF could actually test this candle over here, this bearish order block, which is the last bullish candle before a major drop that led to break of structure. So we could see USD CHF actually push all the way to 88.27, or maybe you could point it out as 88, maybe 25, that quarter point of 25. So yeah, that's something that I'm looking at on USD CHF. So maybe getting into the core PPI, maybe we could see a higher number than expected, maybe 0.3 or even 0.4, as compared to what we've seen. Traders are expecting 0.2. So if that would happen, then we could see USD CHF spike to the upside, and that bullish run probably could take us maybe to that high. By end of maybe the week, we could see this push. However, I'm already in this trade, but once again, always protect yourself. Make sure that you have a stop loss in place. So that's USD CHF, and then we also have Euro USD. This was what we were looking at on Euro USD last week. We wanted to see a bearish push on USD CHF, on Euro USD, and this hasn't changed really on my end. However, I had expected it to spike all the way to 1.1008 and then push downwards, but then again that didn't happen. So maybe this bearish push is in line with what we've anticipated. Maybe what we are expecting the PPI to come out higher, and that means we expect the dollar to strengthen as we go into a new session. However, once again, this is purely educational analysis. And so let's probably map out, maybe somewhere we could look for an entry on Euro USD. Yeah, so let me see. Doesn't seem to have something. Let's go to lower time frames. Okay, so we can see the market has been ranging over here, right? So we expect this market to push whichever direction. So ideally, I would want to see a push down, and then maybe from there we could see a bullish push on Euro USD. So maybe a drop to around there. If we go to the daily, if I were to map out this one, so there's a possibility of price getting to those two areas, something of the sort. We could see that. Alternatively, we could see also Euro USD maybe face some kind of support at 1.0905. If it breaches this area of support, then we should see Euro USD push all the way to 1.08365. That's Euro USD. And then maybe let's look at Bitcoin. At least Bitcoin really did play out as expected over the few months, where we had anticipated BTC to drop all the way to 51,743, and price really did get there last week. Now, I'm still looking for opportunities to short Bitcoin. If we could see BTC drop once again to 4282. This is what I had mapped out from last time, and I'm not changing this analysis. I would still want to see maybe Bitcoin drop here. If we get to this price level, then that will give me maybe an opportunity to buy Bitcoin. The biggest support of Bitcoin is Trump. So if you're a BTC holder, then I'm sure right now you're praying that Trump wins this, so that we get to the moon. But then again, the U.S. elections are quite something with the entry of Kamala. So let's see how that plays out. However, that's my projection. I would want to see a drop, maybe to this price level. Yeah, so that's BTC. UT100. UT100, we had looked at it, and we were anticipating a drop, and then we can see now almost a bullish run after the whole. There's conversation that the Bank of Japan will not hike the interest rates due to the market turmoil that happened. So really, we expect now to see more bullish pushes on UT100. So there are guys who saw this as an opportunity to buy the dips, and so that has presented them with good returns so far. So I would still want to see a continuation of this bullish push. Today, maybe a test of yesterday's low. If we were to look at UT100, I would want to see a test of yesterday's low, and then a bullish push to maybe this moving average. So ideally, if I were to buy UT100, I would want to buy it at a cheaper price, not where it is currently. So that, and then maybe after that we could see a bullish run. That's what I would want to see on UT100. Okay, let's look at AUD-USD. AUD-USD is held up in a resistance, so we can see the moving average here, the 800 moving average, acting as a resistance. But then again, I don't know for how long this should hold. So let's go to higher time frames and see what's playing out. So let's go to the daily. Okay, so if we go to the daily, there's something interesting happening over there. So on the daily, I would want to see a bullish push to maybe the moving average over here, just a few pips shy. That's a 10 pips move. And then maybe after that, we could see some bears coming in. And ideally, that's where I'll be looking at. Let's go to H1. Yeah. So if you go to H4, 6612 is an area then I would want to see how DUSD get to. And then after that, we should see a drop. Maybe this is in line with what technicals basically are laying out, a possibility of a higher PPI reading, which will lead to a strong dollar. And so we expect after a strong dollar, then our DUSD should be bearish. That's at least what I can see on my side. Let's look at gold. So gold, once again, as the turmoil continues in the world, as we expect a retaliation from Iran, we expect the markets to be uneasy. Uncertainty is still there. So we should expect gold to test 2484. And then maybe after that, we could see a breach of that high as the uncertainty plays out. So on gold, I'm just looking for opportunities to buy. As long as there's that Middle East problem playing out, then yeah, gold is still a safe haven as investors convert their cash into gold. Okay, so on gold, I'm looking for opportunities to buy. Let's look at USD CAD. So last week, guys, we were looking at an opportunity to sell USD CAD, and I had a position on this one actually from our last video, and I booked my profits at around this price level. So we can see after that the market has been ranging around this area, right? There's been a whole lot of ranging consolidation. So we need to see a breakout of this market structure over here. And where should we be looking at? Let's remove this analysis now that it's the past. Yeah, so once again, just go to higher time frames to have a better understanding. So if you go to higher time frames, then the continuation of that bearish push is something that we should be looking at. More focused on this candle over here. This candle over here. So 36, 33, that's I think around 98 pips from the current market price. That will be something that I would want to see on USD CAD. Maybe that could play out later today. Yeah, so I'm looking for opportunities to short USD CAD. So ideally, this is what I would want to see. It's around 108 pips. Yeah. So that's it. That's it on USD CAD. I'm looking for those opportunities to short. And if price gets here, then ideally I would want to see bullish pushes. We could see if we go to the daily, another possible area where we could see USD CAD get to is last month's low, that 588. So that's a possibility on USD CAD. Then after that, we could see some bullish push. Okay. Maybe we can have a look at silver. Silver, we've been seeing this bullish trend over here. So if we go to higher time frames, we want to see a continuation of the same. So if I were to look for opportunities on silver, I know there's a client a follower who loves silver. If I were to look for opportunities on silver, then I would be looking for a bullish push. However, just like I love it, I love seeing the market test the lows. Maybe a test of yesterday's low is something that maybe we could see on silver. However, it's way below. But yeah, that's a possibility. However, the long term, maybe the intraday or even the weekly trend on silver is maybe that opportunity to buy to the upside, to that price level. USD JPY. So USD JPY, we've been in our last markup, we were looking at opportunities to short to 138, right? And we can see yesterday last week, sorry, we had that dip. The market is more in a recovery phase. So I would want to see USD JPY test this low. If USD JPY was to test 138.1.10, then that will be a good play. That would be a good play on USD JPY. Okay, that's it from my end. Maybe you have questions. Do you have questions that we can have a look at? I don't seem to see any questions. Okay. Smile, what is the movement of gold direction today? Hey, Smile, I've just done that outlook on gold. So I'm still looking for opportunities to buy gold. Yeah, I'm still looking for opportunities to buy gold. However, if we look at an intraday play, maybe we could see a bearish push. Maybe we could see a bearish push before a continuation of that trend. So it all depends on the numbers. Maybe as we get into the US session, the PPI numbers, then maybe we could see the possibility of a bullish dollar is something that you are seeing as a most likely scenario. But then again, once again, guys, I could be so wrong. So it's up to us to observe risk management to make sure that you're doing your due diligence in terms of analysis, right? Yeah. So Smile, I'm probably looking at an intraday push to the downside before a push up. But as long as there's this whole noise in the Middle East, the political tensions playing out, then gold is still a safe haven. What is the most promising pair to trade today and this week? So we've looked at a few pairs. We've looked at USD CHF. I'm already buying. I'm already on a bullish push on USD CHF. I have my stop loss in place. If I look at my risk to reward, I have a stop loss of 30 pips, and I'm looking at around 130 pips. So that's a good return. That's 1:4. So I'm good on that. GBP USD, we've said we're looking for opportunities to go short. Intraday, as we get into the news, but then again, long term, we should see a bullish push on GBP USD. So ideally, I want to see a push to 28.15 or 28.26, and then a bearish push of around 40 to 50 pips. So we also have Euro USD. Euro USD looking for opportunities to short as we get into New York session, as we wait for the PPI at 3:30. Robin Bondo, please analyze GBP JPY. Do I have it here? Maybe some of you have heard me say I never trade this pair. You see, in trading, some of us have discovered what works and what doesn't work really. So for me, this doesn't work. GJ is something that I blew some few accounts back in my days in trading, and so I stay away from it. But we are all different, right? So let's have a look at GJ. Let me go to my template. So if I look at higher time frames, what's GJ like? Remember, GJ is following more USD JPY. If you look at this pattern on GJ, it's the same as USD JPY. Look at that, almost similar pattern, right? If you go to H4, if you look at this pattern and on H4 on USD JPY, on USD JPYs, yes, and compare that with GBP JPY, it's almost a similar scenario. So what are we looking at? So I'm just going to map out some areas that I feel could act as areas of, in this case, resistance. So yeah, Robin, if I were to look for opportunities on GJ, GJ, I would want to see GJ push to 191.27. This is probably what I would want to see on GJ. Yeah, so that's it. That's what I would want to see on GJ. However, a good entry once again will be better if GJ tested maybe today's low, the Asian low, or maybe tested yesterday's low. These are areas where we have some liquidity, right? So if we go to H1, then maybe the drop that's happening, then maybe we can see GJ drop to 187.56 and then go up. At least that's what I see, Robin, on GJ. So this candle seems like it's an evening star that is about to form, and we can see it's forming at yesterday's high, right? So this is the high of yesterday. Right, so we could see GJ maybe drop to the Asian low, and then maybe now we could see a bullish push. Joseph, Euro Audi. Okay, do I have Euro Audi? That's a pair I've never even traded, but let's see. Do I have it over here? Then I'll have to add it. Let's have a look at it. Euro Audi. So this is Euro Audi. Yeah, it's bearish. It's bearish based on the, let's look at that. I test stop that. Maybe let's look at lower time frames. Okay. So it seems like Euro Audi is bearish. Maybe to that moving average over there. Yeah. So that's what I have on Euro Audi. Should be bearish. And then again, you really need, remember, personally, I prefer not chasing trades. So what I normally do is At times you'll find me going to the areas like these ones. So for example, in this trade, you'll see me map out yesterday's high or the Asian high, something of the sort. Maybe this one. That's the Asian high, which is also almost yesterday's high. So if I were to look for opportunities on Euro AUD, if I were to trade this pair, I would wait for it to test. I would wait for it to test that price level, push up, and then drop. But then again, seems like to be far-fetched. That's around how many pips? Wow, 80 pips. Well, I don't know how Euro AUD plays out. Every currency has its own characteristics, right? So like if it's if it's like GJ can easily hit 80 pips and then drop, right? So it's up to you for those guys who are trading whichever pair you're trading. Get to know how does it behave, because right now we can see it's almost hitting an area of resistance over here, right? Sorry, support. Yesterday's low, we could say this was last month's low, sorry, last week's low. Yeah, so ideally this should act as an area of support, right? But then again, let's see how this player plays out. So this area could act as a support to push up to 1.6618 and then push down to 1.6448, 6450. The problem I have is that I can manage. Oops, that question is gone. The problem that I have is that I can manage to make up to 250 USD from that USD. Then all of a sudden I lose all of them. At worry, this is mental. You need to work on your risk management and also trading psychology. There's a high chance that for you to get to 250 USD, maybe you can give me the timeline for how long did you take to push that USD account to 50 USD? Maybe we can diagnose from that. There's a high chance you used a high lot size, right? So if you use the high lot size, you need to understand the trading probabilities, that you could have a good trade today that doubles your account, but then again the next trade could be a loser, and if you have increased your lot size, then there's a high chance you could blow that account. So what you need to do is make have a consistent lot size. For example, if you that USD account, you should ideally use a 0.01 lot size, but I know not everyone tends to do that. So just test out your strategy at worry. Have a look at your strategy, back test it, see whether it's working by using a consistent lot size. If you see you have a strategy that is working and you've outlined it in your trading plan, then by all means, that's when maybe after a few gains, you can increase your lot size. But this is my two piece at worry. Once you make such an amount of money, can you pay yourself? Right? Just withdraw your money, buy something that you can see. That takes care of, that rewards your brain, because now what you're telling your brain is that, hey, by the way, see, I'm making money from trading, right? So anytime you probably take a loss, then your mind can easily come back and you can always show your mind that, hey guys, listen, you're having a conversation with your brain and you're like, hey, you know what, I made money and this is what I bought, so let's come back to trading. If you don't have anything that you can see, there's a high chance that you give up, because you can't see results. Every meaningful work should give you something. You should see some progress. Yeah. So it's more of mental. For more on this, kindly visit the FX Pesa academies, and especially every Thursday, we have a discussion on risk management and trading psychology. Samuel, shall we expect a full recovery of USD over JPY? So USD JPY, it's all pegged on the Bank of Japan. Okay, the Bank of Japan has said that they won't hike the interest rates anymore because of what happened last week. So we should, based on that, if that remains, then we could see USD JPY staging a comeback. Yeah, but as long as the Bank of Japan is still on the path to interest rate hikes, then we should expect a dip. Okay, I hope I've answered your questions. Thank you for your time. I look forward to. Hello, Robert. Kindly help. What factors on your personal level do you consider to give you a general direction of price a few hours before news? Maybe can help set limits and then news finds you in. Okay, scalp tycoon. I tend to believe you're a scalper by the word scalp, and you're a tycoon. Awesome, man. So, maybe one, you need to identify the long-term trend. Go to higher time frames. Go to H4. That's why you see every time you're asking me of analysis, I tend to go to the monthly, weekly, daily, H4, H1. From then on, I'm able to see the trend is bullish or bearish. If it's bullish, then I'm looking for areas where I could seek support. Some of the areas I'm looking for support levels maybe is yesterday's low, last week's low. You know, like for example here, like we've seen on EURUSD, we have last week's low. This is an area of support, which is why I've said there's a high chance we could see EURUSD push up and then now drop. However, you must understand some pairs will not do this. They'll just breach it. They have no regard for this, and this is why it's always important uh, to understand how a certain currency or a certain asset behaves, because every currency has its own unique characteristics, and the moment you identify that, then it becomes easy. So once you've identified like that area of support, then you must actually now, in my case, I will use a tool like the RSI. You need to see whether the price level is at oversold or overbought. If, for example, you can see right here when price was at this overbought, we can see that dip. So I would want to see maybe whether if it's at 70 region or 30 region, then I'm looking. If it's at 30, then I want to see a buy. If it's at 70, then I want to see some sell. So with that, you can now set out your sell stop or your buy stop. In this case, you would want to set out a buy stop because you're looking for opportunities to buy, so that when the news come out, it can hit your stop, sell stop order, and that becomes an active trade. Hello, when selling, let's say Euro USD, should one look for buys on USD card? Now, you're talking about correlation, right? So you need to know why. For example, if Euro USD is moving, you need to understand what's moving Euro USD. Like, for example, if you look at GBP USD right now, this bullish push that has happened, this candle here, was courtesy of the unemployment data that has come out lower. You know, the expectation was that the unemployment in UK will be 4.5, but then the numbers have come out at 4.2. So this one has nothing to do with the dollar. So this bullish push is courtesy of GU. So you really need to know why that currency is moving. It could be moving because of the euro, could be moving because of the dollar. Now, if it's the dollar, then you need to understand that now that's where a correlation with the USD card can come in. Okay. Thank you for your question. Shout out to Patrick, Khadija, and Gabriel in Nakuru FX Express offices. Really doing a great job. Awesome, Dishon. Thank you for your feedback. Thank you. Awesome. I'll pass it along to Patrick for the awesome work he's doing. So thank you, guys. Cheers. Have a good one. And have a peaceful week and a peaceful day.